here, and over the last 2 days, I've been learning a lot from listening to colleagues and scholars. We are standing at the intersection of two revolutions. One is the energy transition, and the other is artificial intelligence. I would add that we have other revolutions, tokenizations, digitalizations, and quantum computing. All these revolutions come together. So on one hand, the energy sector is pushing hard to decarbonize, integrate renewables, and build more flexible and reliable and smarter grids. On the other hand, AI is transforming almost every industry and is entering the energy in a very serious way by optimizing grid flows to managing distributed resources. Today, I want to discuss with you how we can make AI in energy not only powerful, but also trustworthy, transparent, and aligned with governance. I think you believe the same, that governance is the key for deployment of any technology. With good governance, technology can push forward fast. With bad governance, we can have hiccups and then can push the technology backwards, and we don't want that. That's where the idea of virtual personhood comes in, a framework that I have been working on that treats AI systems almost as entities. And today I want to explore this idea together with you to see how we can apply this in the energy sector and whether or not this is a missing governance layer that we are looking for. So I don't want to go into details of how much energy AI is consuming. This has been dealt with by my colleagues. But the point is that AI is not only about clever algorithm, it's about energy. And it's not only about producing more green energy, it's also about managing AI interaction with energy in a way that it does not become a burden and does not destabilize. Also, there are promises that AI is bringing in and also negative sides. Most of these have been discussed yesterday by Filippo, which I really enjoyed his discussions. And today, Shandor went into details of how AI is being used in the energy sector. Again, on the slide, you can see we are talking about smart grids, optimization, renewable forecasting, everything that has been discussed by Shandor, so he made my job easier. I can push forward the slides. I don't want to repeat things that have already been said. Okay, let's go back to the idea of virtual personhood and how it came about. In order for me to explain that, I need to give a bit of background of my background so that you see from which angle I'm looking at this issue. I am a lawyer, I'm an ex-judge, I'm an approved counsel for the International Criminal Court in The Hague. I've managed law firms in different jurisdictions, and now I'm an AI and ethics advisor. On a practical side, through Nexter Law and I Review AI, we are helping companies, especially law firms, to AIify, basically to use AI in their practices. And basically what I'm trying to say, I have hands on the matter, which is AI, and we've tested over 1,000 different tools over the last 2-3 years, and we've been doing a lot of research, and basically publication of several books about AI ethics led me to this conclusion that in law we have me and you as natural persons, and we have legal persons. I ask you, where do you think AI is? AI is not a natural person, and it's not a legal person. I'm arguing that AI could be the third category of personhood, which is, I call it virtual person. And this has been discussed in my book, The Emergence of Virtual Person, very detailed. And then I looked into the sentience side of it and also the ownership of AI created material. So how does it relate to energy? I will come to that in a couple of slides later. So basically, I'm arguing that we should not only look at AI based on the industry it is deployed to work. EU AI Act looked at AI based on its risks. So if AI is deployed in the energy sector, it is high risk. But we don't have any regulation that looks at AI based on its intelligence and capability. So I classified AI based on this one, and then T stands for tools. That is the lowest level of AI. Then we have semi-autonomous agents. That is a higher level of intelligence. Then we have virtual collaborators, and then the highest level would be virtual persons. Its relation to energy. Okay, so here it gets a little bit probably more interesting for you guys in energy sector. So tier T, which is registered tools, think of it as forecasting models, dashboards, or optimization scripts. These are only tools. They just need to be registered. But governance is a very light touch. Then we have semi-autonomous agents, which is tier A. That is the highest level. Look at it like EV smart charging agents. I would say this could be semi-autonomous agents, and they need human guardian or supervisor. So EU AI Act called this human oversight. Then we go to the next level, which is virtual collaborators. The example I see in your sector would be virtual power plants, which are virtual collaborators. And then the highest level would be virtual persons, which can be in a sandbox, grid co-pilots, or market actors with high degree of autonomy. These can be virtual persons. These would only operate under regulatory sandboxes with a guardian on record, liability rules, and continuous safety assessment. So how do we manage this? Basically, I'm not claiming that I have the answers. This is only a theory, but it also could be a theory for future. But the way I see it happening, we developed a platform called BPRP, and this platform is patented. Under this platform, every AI agent gets registered. And then when it gets registered, this registration is linked to blockchain through tokenization. So nobody can tamper with it. It is centralized, decentralized, and it can be used worldwide, and it can be very transparent. So after that, this registration can be attached to a national authority and then to EU-wide registration. So what does this do? Developers can't deploy a PAC system without a trace. Regulators have real-time oversight. Operators can query exactly which AI is making decisions on their network. And most importantly, life cycle changes. If a model updates from 1 to 2, the same registration number stays, but another transaction happens on the exchange. So this has two main benefits. One is a control and oversight and governance by the national authorities and EU, which they love. I mean, the governments would love to have a control on something. The other thing, the platform can make huge amount of money through tokenization and through blockchain. Imagine every single transaction is made by an AI agent is a transaction. I don't know how you feel so far. Is it something that resonates with you? Have you so far managed to follow? Basically, the platform is, if implemented, can have these two huge advantages. One is the governance and control issue. The other one is that the platform can generate income, and this income, I'll go back to what Peter mentioned, can help to make AI more accessible to people who can't access it. Imagine AI itself making billions of dollars, trillions of dollars just by registration. And this money can be fed into actually making AI more accessible to everyone. So this is a theory, but I believe that it's a theory that can be implemented. It needs a sandbox, and it needs a federation like this, and it needs a group of people like you and me to go along with it and give it a try and test it in a sandbox environment. Okay, how does this VPR ID looks like? Virtual Person Registration ID. So in theory, it can start with EUVP. So this is an EU-wide virtual person. HU stands for the country, so first registered in Hungary. C stands for the level, so it's a collaborator. In 2026 is registered, and the last one is actually a digital ID, which is unique serial plus a cryptographic hash that ensures two things, uniqueness and tamper-proofing. Even if someone tried to alter records, the hash would reveal the mismatch. So basically, a unique ID will be issued to an AI. So why does this matter? Okay, we will see who developed the system, what tier it belongs to, who is the guardian or supervisor, and its life cycle and history. I want to bring in another idea, which I would say this is an idea, but it could be implemented. In the energy sector, we have guarantees of origin. Imagine we have algorithmic guarantees of origin as well. So on left, we see a renewable guarantees of origin. That certificate, it says the electricity was generated from wind power issued by a national energy authority valid for X year. On the right side, we can see an AGO, which is an algorithmic guarantees of origin, would say this balancing decision or market action was scheduled by grid optimizer, blah, blah, carrying that identification number with guardian oversight from, for example, Hungarian DSO, certified as a carbon-aware scheduling. So basically, these two can go hand in hand. I mean, the registration and the algorithmic guarantees of origin can go hand in hand. Of course, it needs a lot of technological advancement, and at this stage, it's only a theory.
Siamak, I'm afraid we are running out of time.
Okay, I'm finishing now. So what does it do? Transparency, auditability, and trust. So how do we do this? Basically, in order for this to work, we need a mandate. We don't need to change the European regulation landscape. All we have to do is to have a mandate to mandate VPR IDs for AI systems in energy. It can integrate with the EU Energy Data Space, and it can be aligned with the AI Act. And in practice, we need a pilot sandbox, a 12-month pilot with a DSO, VPP, and EV fleet aggregator, and register with VPR ID issue, And basically, a sandbox can be implemented with just 3 entities for 12 months. If it works, it can go nationwide. I'm in talk with some countries like Singapore. Denmark came back to me that it's very interesting, but we don't have the resources. So actually, it needs federations like this and group of people who say, okay, this is an idea. We are not saying it's a perfect fix. Let's test it and let's push it forward. So I welcome any collaboration and any ideas. And if you have questions, I can answer you in here or after the session. Thank you very much for your attention.